Good morning and welcome to Coffee Chat with Colleen. I'm Colleen Hammond. Thanks for joining us. If you're watching us on the replay on Facebook, at the end of the video, there'll be a little square that says subscribe to the live feed so you know next time I go live. Just know that I'm here on my personal Facebook page and actually on all of my Facebook pages, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And if you're, make sure you like and share. Give me a heart, give me a thumbs up, give me a like. I don't care. Give me some tears. Just give me something. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure that you, excuse me, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Wow. Oh, let me get some coffee. And so today's topic came about because I have been interviewing coaches. I'm talking to business coaches and personal coaches and that type of thing to help me try to figure out how to work the business. So the other day, I talked to probably 3 or 4 of them, right? And a couple of them made this comment, well, I've watched a couple of your YouTube lives and, you know, you're just too relaxed. You're just too, you need to polish up. Hey, good morning, Shirley. And I thought, you know what's so funny is most of the comments I get is, oh, I just love watching your YouTube lives because you're so real. I just feel like you're one of us. Okay, I kind of like that better. So it's just interesting, you know, that people kept wanting me to change and not be who I am. So I found that quite interesting. So yeah, Rex, it is going to be a grand morning. You know, this morning I moved the, you can still kind of see the blue thing. It's over here. Good morning, Gracie, you made it. So I kind of pushed it over, but I'm blocking the light that's coming in because the sun is shining. And I thought, go ahead, let me show you my messy cupboards. I moved the blue screen or the green screen in here so that I could set it up more as a studio. And then things kind of got carried away this week, and I haven't gotten around to it yet. And then I found out I'm moving into a different room in the house. So I thought, why set up everything here? And then next week I'm going to turn around and move into a different room and have to tear it all down and set it back up again. So the whole green screen and everything is on hold. So Andrew, you made it. Chocolate almonds. Rex has chocolate almonds with him this morning. So, and if you have a SK Joseph, do I call you SK? Do I call you Joseph? Do I call you Mr. Solomon? Hey, Pam, Sari can't stay, busy day. Okay, well, just watch the replay later. I'm going to try to make these a little bit shorter. You know, thanks, Gracie. I love my bookcase, too. It actually goes a couple of rows higher, and it wraps around the room. I have bookcases all the way around the room, and we have bookcases all over the house, actually. So, and yes, I think I've read every single solitary book that's in every bookcase in my house. So, and just go by Joe? Okay, we'll call you Joe. I appreciate it. So anyway, it was interesting that I was talking to all these different coaches, and they all, not all of them, but a couple of people are like, you know what, you've got it. You know what you're doing is just great marketing. I'm like, I'm not doing marketing. I'm talking to my friends. And that's what's so interesting is that the comments that I got from some of them are just kind of amazing to me. Janet, you made it. I know you're at work, so I appreciate you checking in. So people keep wanting me to change and be something else. So I thought that would be a great topic for today. Do people want to change you? Do people judge you? Do people want you to be something else or somebody else? Or do you feel that pressure from the outside? Then you should, really. Jocelyn has way more books than she has read. I have a stack of books that I haven't read too. It's kind of next to my bed. It used to be on my nightstand, but the stack got pretty tall, so now it's underneath my nightstand. And it's kind of slotched over a little bit too. So I think the story that I'm reminded of the most, well, before I get to the story, and I want to make these a little bit shorter too, because I know some people say that, you know, half hour is great, but sometimes they don't have all that time. So I'm going to try to keep these a little bit shorter and tighter. Joseph says the SK is Sir Knight, the title from the 4th degree of the Knights of Columbus. I didn't know that. Thanks for explaining to us. And Shirley says, yeah, society wants us all to change. So, yeah, John Marie, well, you're about to get my input. I love sharing my opinion. So anyway, it's a balance because we know that people will judge us within 7 seconds of seeing us. They judge on our character, our intelligence, how much money they think we make, our sexual preference, our religious preference, our competence level. Did I say trust? Our intelligence. But trust is the interesting one because trust and competence are judged in a millisecond. In less than a second, when we look at somebody, it's all very subconscious. We determine whether or not we trust that person. Less than a second. I think it's 0.2, so it's a millisecond, right? And it's done very subconsciously. What's it based on? Well, some of it's based on our personal experience. Does that person look like somebody who betrayed us in the past? Does that person remind us of somebody that we really liked? So sometimes we can give away our trust too quickly because they remind us of somebody, or we can not like somebody because an ex-boyfriend used to wear that shirt all the time. Thank you, Janet. Thanks for stopping in. Special prayers said for you today, special offerings. Thank you. And Janet is an amazing prayer warrior. I was talking about Janet the other day about her giving me such great advice a few months ago. So people will judge us. People will judge us. How do we want to be judged? Do we care if we're judged? Should we care if we're judged? Well, I think how people treat us and what they think of us does impact a lot of different areas of our lives. So for my business clients, for example, if they're walking into a networking event, they have 0.2 of a second to make an impression from across the room walking in the door. So how they're dressed, how they carry themselves, their posture, whether they walk in like this, or they walk in a commanding posture, immediately will make an impression for them. In general, do we care what people at Walmart think about us? Or should we? Yes and no. It's an act of charity, I believe. It's an act of charity to look your best. I think we feel our best when we look our best. Good morning, Debbie. Thanks for joining us. I think we feel, and there's all sorts of studies. I talked about this in the radio interview I did last night, and I'll put the link in the show notes, that it's called enclothed cognition. And what that means, it was a study that they did, but they dressed people in a white lab coat. Oh, wait, hold on a second. I turned off all my notifications. They dressed people in a white lab coat or a white jacket. And some people they told it was a lab coat and it was a doctor's jacket. And other people they told it was a painter's jacket. Then they gave these people a test. The people who thought they were dressed as a doctor did far better on the test than the people who thought they were dressed as a painter. So it's called enclothed cognition. So how you think about yourself based on what you're wearing. So if you're dressed as a farmer, you kind of act like a farmer. If you're dressed like a doctor, you kind of think more like a doctor. So actual clothing that we put on, and this is for men and women alike, the actual clothing we are wearing causes us to think differently about ourselves. So how we are dressed, whether we are dressed as a Catholic, a lot of people say, hey, I'm a stubborn Catholic. Do we want to portray an image of being Christ-like? Do we want to portray that image? This is something that I talked about last night again in the radio interview. As homeschooling moms, I wanted to, initially I didn't care. I was exhausted. But initially, or later, I thought, because people were saying, wow, this is when I had 3 children, let alone 4. And, many of my friends have more than that. They would say, wow, I could never do that. I would be exhausted. Well, I wanted what I have to be attractive to others. And if I'm walking around looking frumpy and bedraggled and people go, yeah, it's because she has 4 children. No wonder. Yeah, it's because she homeschools. No wonder she looks like a hot mess. Or if I'm out there and I'm presenting a positive image, and I've talked about before, this to pull together in the morning takes less than 5 minutes. Brush my hair, arrange it, and I'm lucky it just kind of does this in the morning. I know that. Coat of either tinted moisturizer or a foundation, whisk on some mascara, a little bit of blush, lip gloss, and a tiny little bit of liner around the outside corner of my eye. That's it. Throw on clothes, wear pretty much the same. You recognize this? I wear pretty much the same thing most days. And that's all it takes. It takes just as much time to put on something nice as it does to put on something frumpy, and a couple of minutes to do the face. So how we present ourselves in society speaks for not just us, speaks for our family. And if people are judging our religious preference in less than 7 seconds, they're judging what they think our religious faith is as well. If they, how sometimes you can look at somebody, well, wow, they look apostolic. They got the apostolic poof, which I absolutely adore. I wish I could do that with my hair. Or they look at somebody and say they look Southern Baptist, or they look Orthodox Jew, or they're a Hasidic Jew, or they look Muslim, or they look. People will judge our religious preferences, or religious. Immediately, within 7 seconds. They judge. So not only are they judging us, they're judging our entire church. They're judging our family. They'll look at somebody and go, bless her heart, that's her husband. If they see us out together as a couple, or bless his heart, man, that's his wife. He looks great. She looks a little bit sloppy. People are nasty, Maria. They do get jealous of what people wear. It depends on where you're living, that sometimes dressing too nicely or not nicely enough, there's that balance, and where do you draw the line? So we want to present our best selves without offending, but at the same time not caring too much what other people think. So there is that knife's edge. There is a bit of a balance. And it reminded me of that Aesop's fable, the man, the boy, and his donkey. So a man and his son were heading into town to go to the farmer's market, and they had their donkey with them. And some people passed by and said, well, you guys are a couple of fools. What do you think a donkey's for? Why aren't you riding your donkey? And they went, oh, well, that's true. So the man put his boy up on the donkey, and they're going along, and pretty soon they pass a couple of men, and a couple of the men are like, look at that lazy young man making his dad walk. He ought to be ashamed of himself. So the man thought about it. Well, this probably doesn't look very good to other people. So he had his son get down off the donkey, and he got up on the donkey. So they're walking along, and two women are walking along, and they're gossiping and whispering to each other. Look at that lazy old man. He's making his son walk. And donkeys are strong. They could both be up on that horse. Boy, that man is just mean. So the man pulls the son up on the donkey with him. And they're driving on. They're going into town. And they get into town. And now they're around the city folk. And the city folk look over and they go, that poor donkey. That poor donkey. Both of those guys are riding that poor donkey. That donkey can't handle all that weight. And the man thought, oh, wow, the poor donkey, he's right. So they didn't know what to do. They looked around, they saw a pole on the ground, and so they picked up the pole and they strapped the donkey's feet to the pole, and the boy and his son start carrying the donkey, and the donkey's struggling because it's carried upside down by, its feet are all tied on this pole, and it starts to struggle, and as they're walking over the bridge, the donkey struggles enough that it breaks the pole, and the pole snaps and the donkey falls off the bridge into the water, and of course it drowns because its feet are tied. And then there's this old man standing there, and he's shaking his head, and he says, that's what happens when you try to please everybody. You don't please anyone. So where do we draw the line? Pleasing ourselves, pleasing God, pleasing our spouse. And men in general don't really care. They're like, honey, wear whatever you want. They do want their wives to be happy. They do want their wives to be comfortable. So much so that I think it kind of gives it. My husband was that way. Dennis was that way. Just wear whatever you want, honey. I don't care. So I was like, licensed to be a frump. Awesome. Because I just didn't. I suffered from slight postpartum depression with a couple of the children. I was exhausted. Then they found out I had low thyroid and, those types of things. But something also happens when you spend an extra 2 minutes every morning to make yourself look a little bit better. And somebody said this in our private Facebook group the other day, when she walks by and looks at herself in the mirror like, hey, I look kind of nice today. You do feel better about yourself. So I get up in the morning and I try to dress or get to the point where I'm ready to walk out the door in case library books are due, or in case we have to do a quick run to the grocery store, or if someone didn't put their work schedule on the calendar and we find out at the last minute they have to be run into town to go to work, you know. So there is a balance. There is a balance. So what do you think? Share your thoughts with me. Where do you draw the line? Or do you draw the line? The the thing that you have to remember is that people are going to judge us. Plain and simple. We are going to be judged based solely on how we look. And I'm not talking about being gorgeous and being, here, this storage almost full. It keeps wanting me to purchase more cloud storage if it keeps reminding. Gracie says you can please some of the people all of the time. You can please all of the people some of the time, but you can't please all of the people all the time. Abraham Lincoln. So very true. Anne says she noticed how frumpy. Girl, you're so cute. I noticed how frumpy I looked the other day. I need concealer every day. Yeah, well, you know, sometimes concealer doesn't take that much to put on. And I'm, as far as men are concerned, and for our sons, I always had kind of the rule that when our sons left the house, they had to be wearing a collared shirt. So we have work around the house clothes, and you know, the children were younger. We had a lot of animals, and now we don't. We had the chickens and the goats and the dogs and the cats and all that. So there's work around the house clothes. There's visiting clothes, and like I said, this is when the boys had to wear a polo shirt, basically anything that had a collar. There's clothing we wear to church, and then there's clothing we wear to bed. So four major outfits. So it doesn't take a lot of effort to find 4 outfits that are going to work for you. So just keeping in mind that you are being judged on those 7 things instantaneously, and trust being the one that's done in a millisecond. So trust and competence are judged in a millisecond. A lot of that's based on the colors you're wearing and a smile on your face, the warmth you exude, that type of thing. So character, intelligence, competence, income level, trustworthiness, sexual preference, and religious affiliation are the 7 things that are judged in less than 7 seconds. Professional appearance is 9/10 of the law, says Rex. Absolutely. Debbie lives out in the country and dresses what you're going to do today. I dress clean where we live. I have church clothes. That's you know, and that's the thing, that being clean and tidy and pulled together is a huge part of it. You know, whether we throw on a pretty scarf before we walk out the door, making sure your nails are clean, making sure your teeth are brushed. Jocelyn says she removes herself from groups of people who are condemning. People judge, and that's okay. Being condemning is not. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, because there is that sense of condemnation, and who needs that in our life? You know what? We are far more critical of ourselves, I think, sometimes, not always. We're far more critical of ourselves than other people are critical of us. And we sometimes can beat ourselves up for the littlest things, and other people don't even notice. So there's that balance there. And then Jocelyn brings up a really good point, that there are people that are so negative and so condemning that no matter what you do, you can't please them. It's like the donkey, the boy, and the farmer, where they're trying to please everybody, but they end up pleasing no one. So ultimately, it comes down to our own self-confidence, which is why I want to start that self-confidence series. I'm aiming for Monday, actually, at this point, depending on how things are going around here. Yesterday kind of got away with for us. I downloaded the new iOS onto my laptop, and then it took, this will take 30 minutes. 5.5 hours later, it finally finished, and then I tried to open my documents, and they were like in Chinese or something. So I don't know if it's because my laptop's 5 years old, or if the new iOS with Siri is messing up my computer. So yesterday kind of got away from me, but that's why I want to start the self-confidence series, and I am aiming for Monday morning, so that when we are more comfortable with ourselves, we're more comfortable about how we present ourselves to the public. So there's that fine line between, I could care less what anybody thinks, but remembering too that not only does it reflect on ourselves, but it reflects on our spouse, our family, our church, our business, that type of thing. That's why there are people that are fired for what happens on their social media channels. And that's happening more and more. Um, um, Andrea asked, do I have a book on what to wear for body types? Actually, I'm coming out with ebooks and courses on all body types, and they're all written. The ebooks, the pair ebook is almost finished and just needs a cover, and then the videos to go along with it. Heather says I don't go wrapped up in oh, okay, the comments are going by faster than I can read them, so I'm going to switch over to Facebook. And I have to refresh my Facebook page so it gives me my comments. There we go. There, caught up. I don't. Heather says she doesn't get wrapped up in hair and makeup and dressed to the nines all the time. I'm practical. My little kids are 4, 7, 9, and 3 teens. You know, and it also has to do with your style personality. And I have that quiz, and I'll make sure I'll put the quiz for style personalities in the show notes after we finish up this live and go to the recording. That different style personalities will dress differently. So if you're more of a relaxed style personality, which I am at home, then there are nice clothing that you can wear that are still comfortable, that are still presentable, still nice, and you still feel, you know, there's a difference between walking around in your husband's sweatpants and walking around in a maxi skirt and a nice blouse. It takes just as same amount of time to get dressed, but it's how you feel about yourself. It goes back to enclothed cognition. Rex says individually one should take pride in their appearance because it says that you care about yourself, plus it will boost the individual's confidence. Absolutely. So it's a combination. Thanks for joining us, Dawn Marie. Have a blessed. Jocelyn, my internal voice is not as kind as I would talk to others. Very true. It's a battle. Dresses have made a huge difference in my wardrobe, and I have found some gorgeous leather jackets at the consignment shop. It's a very smart, clean look. Absolutely. Nicole, good morning, Nicole. I'm told I just need to be presentable. I love to look my best always. Where's the balance? Well, who's telling you just need to, is that Eric that just says, just look presentable? Because, girl, you always look presentable. Excuse me. So I think being clean and well put together and not wrinkly, you know, that's kind of like the minimum of presentable. I'm glad you caught us live this morning, Carla. Okay, your priest says that's just, okay. Looking presentable, you know, it's very subjective. What is presentable for one style personality or one state in life might not be acceptable for looking presentable in another state in life. Sarah, love you, Colleen. I had to read that one. Grandmother taught me lots about dress. I tend to be classic in style, but make sure I'm always tidy. There you go. Jocelyn probably had to reload. It looked like I buffered out because my internet connection here in the country is a little bit low. So back to the Nicole and the priest comment. So what is presentable? It's going to be different for that different personality. Because if I had a priest tell me once, don't wear makeup. You really don't have to wear makeup. I don't wear a lot of makeup, so he was like, don't wear makeup at all. So I totally stopped wearing makeup. I didn't feel good about myself. I didn't feel right. And it's not like I'm Kim Kardashian with my makeup, you know, and it wasn't a vanity issue. It wasn't it just, mascara is important to me because I got tiny little eyes, you know. I got a pear-shaped body and a pear-shaped face, you know. I want to bring the eye up here, you know. So looking presentable is very subjective. So there's a balance there. Good morning, Christine. Thanks for joining us. Jocelyn, it's okay to paint the barn, keeps things from falling apart. There you go. But I think skincare is the most important thing. That's what I try to focus on with my clients, is taking care of their skin. Because when a lot of times you feel you have to put on makeup to cover up problems and blemishes and that type of thing. So as long as the skin is taken care of, and then just a light coating of light coating like that, like spackle of makeup, you know. Like I said, a tinted moisturizer, a little bit of blush, a whisk of mascara, a tiny little bit of eyeliner in the corner of my eye, and some lip gloss. You know, I put on, what are those called? Stains. A lip stain, and then a little bit of Vaseline sometimes, or chapstick, or Burt's Bees, or something like that. Especially now as we're getting into a drier time of year, except for this morning. It's extremely humid here. So just a tiny touch of something. So anyway, gosh, I was going to try to make it shorter this morning, and it kind of got caught away. So make sure you're looking for the self-confidence course that we're going to be starting keep your fingers crossed and say a prayer that we'll get that going for Monday. Like I said, I'm going to be shifting rooms, so probably be using the green screen or the blue screen coming up next week sometime. And just to remember that there are those 7 things that people judge us on within 7 seconds. And that'll be a new ebook that I have. Actually, it's been written and it's formatted. And I think that one we're just working on the cover as well. So the new ebook is 7 Judgments People Make About You in 7 Seconds. That's coming out hopefully next week. That's finished. Then I have the whole series I'm doing in all the different body types. The ebooks are all written. Now I've got all the videos that I'm doing to go along with those courses. So that should be coming out soon too. Carla says, love the topic. Always felt guilty about makeup as a Christian woman. Personal decision, but I don't, I think it's the intent of the person using the makeup. I don't think makeup in and of itself is evil. I think it's how it's being used. Anne says she was taught when wearing makeup to wear enough to make it look like you're wearing nothing at all. Yeah, I remember being at a conference and a priest, it was a young adults conference, and the priest said, be like Mrs. Hammond, don't wear makeup. And all the girls in the room laughed. They go, she's wearing makeup. He goes, oh, well, you can't tell. So, and Rex says, why is it that thin women will ask, does this make me look fat? Whole nother topic. Francis, I never care about what people think about me. I'm here to please God. Well, I think God cared about what other people thought of him in a sense. He was trying to get across a message, and that's why he told stories. And people loved him. He wasn't an ogre. So it's got a lot to do about personality too, and the charism that we bring to the world, because like I said earlier, people judge us on 7 things, including what church we belong to. So not only are we representing ourselves, we are representing God. We are representing the church that we belong to. Heather says, I have to say an unintended positive to focusing less on being perfect is that I don't get comments on my clothes and makeup. Instead, I get comments on my hair, my kids, and how I serve God. Amen. Amen. Yeah, we don't have to be perfect. We are all striving for unconditional love, because truly that's what God is. God is love, and we strive for that unconditional love. And we think too much about, does this make me look fat? Does, 2 people think about, and that's why I try to teach women, and in 30 days or less, I can teach a woman how to dress perfectly for her state in life, her personality, her body type, so that everything in her closet makes her look and feel amazing and pretty and feminine and godly. And then you don't have to worry. Oh, my sister's here. Good morning, Sherry. Sister Fran. Elizabeth said, I just ordered fast food breakfast. The gal who served me had her hair done, light makeup, and made eye contact. Eye contact in this day and age. Amazing. I know that they're not on their cell phone. Hey, Carmen, glad you caught us live. And Teresa's jumping in too. Good gracious. Everybody's coming in as I'm just wrapping up. You guys are going to end up watching the replay. So those 7 things that people are judging us on reflect on our church, our family, as well as ourselves. So when we aren't worried, back to what I was saying about teaching women how to dress in 30 days or less, so that everything you pull out of your closet is your favorite outfit. You have that one favorite outfit that you put on that you always know makes you look and feel amazing, right? Every outfit in your closet should be that way. Guess why? Not for selfish reasons, just the opposite. Because when you aren't worried about how you look, does this make me look fat? You're not pulling, you're not tugging, you're not worried about, things. Then when you're not worried about how you look, because you're confident, you feel good, you can focus on others. And isn't that why we're here? We're here to love and serve others, to be happy in this world so we can be happy in the next, because we always feel better. So if you're not worried about yourself and not thinking about yourself all the time, you can think, what nice thing can I say to the cashier? Give a compliment. I try to compliment everybody I meet. Find something genuine that I can comment on and compliment them for. The cashier, when I'm going through the checkout, if I happen to be talking to somebody, going through the aisle, because I'm tall, I often get stopped by shorter people and asked to grab things off the top shelf, just to think, and if I can't give a genuine a compliment, it doesn't fit into the conversation at that moment, then I just move on. But not thinking about ourselves, but thinking about how we can be of service to others, how we can uplift others around us. Because when we're not thinking about what we're wearing, we know we look good. we're making a beautiful impression to the rest of the world. We're representing ourselves, our husbands, our families, our church, our business in a godly and appropriate manner. Then we can focus on serving others. So that's what I want to talk about. That's what I really wanted to talk about today, is we're all striving for that unconditional love, but when we love ourselves more, we're more confident with ourselves, when we're secure with ourselves, then we can focus on serving others. So that's the message for today. When you try to please all, you'll end up pleasing none. So only worry about pleasing God, pleasing yourself, pleasing your family, pleasing your husband, and serving others. So that's our comment for today. Oh, rewatch this with your girls. Absolutely. Please do. And make sure that at the end of this video, there's going to be a subscribe button so that when this finishes, you can subscribe to know when I go live any other times. And also make sure you like and share the video. If you think this is something, there's a little share button underneath. Just if you're on Facebook, you can share it. If you're watching this, the recording on YouTube, you can also like and share it out with other people if you think this message is important. So I think it's important. It's kind of what I've dedicated my life to. So I obviously think it's important. So anyway, have a very blessed and wonderful day. Thanks for joining me this morning. I didn't even get to show you my blue cup. I have all sorts of colors for these cups. And have a blessed day. And we will see you tomorrow morning, 2 p.m. in London, 9 a.m. here on the East Coast. And let me see, what is that? Midnight in Melbourne, Australia. So have a blessed day. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks again for joining us, friends. God bless. Bye now.